So for those of you who think like, not him again, my colleagues have the same thing every day, so you have to suffer 2 days. So as stated yesterday, this was planned to be like plenary, making the last talk and talking a little bit about what's next and kind of create a wrap up for these 2 days. Means you're pretty much out of energy, I assume, so I try to go through this very quickly, and then if we have, and I think we have time for questions afterwards, even on stage or after that we can have a chat. So this talk is pretty much two parts. So one thing is like summarizing what we have seen in a way to explain where our big picture is or where we see ourselves in future development. And the other thing is like two things we have not seen so far, which we are coming up later this year. So let's start with it. Johannes wrapped it up very well today and talked about the Icinga notification thing. And even without repeating what he told you, it's important that you take as a takeaway that we will have the beta release at the end of June. And in some way later this year, we will have it available. Even we would like to have your feedback on that. I come to the Icinga Insiders thing also later. So feedback is super important. I think we got a lot of questions here, a lot of ticketing system, again, we didn't know before. But this is really crucial because even the first approaches we had on Icinga notification brought us to the way that we can show it to the first audience, and then we figured out that we have to do it differently. And so even if it takes longer, we know that notifications is just a crucial part of a monitoring system. We really would like to have like a really good first shot and not like releasing something where we figure out that the majority of you cannot really work with. So it's really important this is kind of rock solid and hits the nail. And so from the architecture point of view, it's really important to take away why we have done this. Because in our past, the Icinga 2, which is like our Icinga 2 core today, was pretty much responsible for collecting all the information and monitoring we had. But over time, and there's already modules existing, we figured out that not everything you have out there, especially if you come to these high dynamic environments like Kubernetes and also VMware vSphere in some case, does not fit in this host service pattern. And even if we try to, I don't know if we really try to, but we considered how can we make this, we ended up having different modules that really fit an architecture out there. And for that reason, is that we have something like vSphere, that we have something in the future like Icinga for Kubernetes, we have that issue that the Icinga core itself does not know these events anymore, right? So in Icinga for Kubernetes, if you have a problem with a Kubernetes pod, the Icinga core itself has no clue about it. And therefore, one chance we could do is like, I don't know, making Icinga 2 core enabling that he processes the external notification. But this is just really important, giving the notification that focus that it's needed, that it's outside, and it's the future target for all the events going to be produced by Icinga 2 as it's done now, by things like Kubernetes, business process, VMware, because all these things already process events. And if you work with Icinga right now, you know you have to implement some dummy checks or whatever, wrappers to get a notification on. And to eliminate this and just have a single source of truth and summarizing notification, it's not only like we have a new way of doing notification and make a fancy web interface out of it, it's just a required architectural design decision that we can bring more modules into the Icinga ecosystem and have a central way to get an alert and get a notification for it. So this is really an important part. And Outlook, and here with that I don't mean the email client Outlook, is that we have notification for all the Icinga modules. So of course the Icinga core will be the first, then probably Icinga Kubernetes will be the next, I don't know, but then there's vSphere and certificate, all these modules you currently know. This is the automatic next step will be to have notification ready for all these modules that they enter up in the Icinga notifications. And also all these channels out there. So the priority where we are and having notification systems you currently use or ticketing system you use, some of them you would like to use with a generic approach, or you can use the webhook. Others will have a more specialized integration and channel. I think it's more than honest to say we will see what's first, what gets the most priority. Of course, we need to tackle down these solution people currently have right now. Like one question was, can I just execute a script in some way? Because people already built their infrastructure around these things. So we have to solve that. And then we will see where we end up with all the other things and what the notification module will bring in the future. And also, and this is, let's say the same issue, but from another perspective, what you see with Icinga for Kubernetes is that we would like to follow the approach monitoring specific infrastructure parts with a decent size and also, let's say, requirement from our community user and customer base that we don't, that we move on building custom modules for infrastructure. So if it's like the modules you know now, if it's Kubernetes, if it's different cloud infrastructure, if it's like an OpenStack or Rancher or all these Proxmox, whatever is out there, don't try to put them into the host service context. So give them their own visibility, break them down, model them around a design, a UI, which reflects the IT idea of that specific technology. It's an important part. And Kubernetes is pretty much the next one, which it attaches to the existing infrastructure. And I don't know yet, I think nobody knows what's next if we focus on having AWS or having an Azure or a Google Cloud or OpenStack or OpenShift or all these modules out there, which OpenShift is pretty much done by the Kubernetes module. But definitely this is the way to go for us. And I hope you can also follow that path, that the Icinga for Kubernetes is more than just collecting metrics out of Kubernetes. It also explains you the infrastructure. So it generates a relation between hosts and pods and deployments and makes it visible, and therefore you need like a specific interface, UI, and user experience for a specific architecture. So first of all, for the Kubernetes thing, integration with Icinga notification, the Prometheus integration, we're already working on this, that we have like our own graphing library in there where we can have metrics in the module. Multi-cluster support, I guess there was a question yesterday about this. That is a thing. Reporting and also overview about the event history. And also I think we had a question about this yesterday, what is with the event history. So these are the things which are next in the two modules we showed you. And then there are things we have not showed you. So one thing is dependencies. Who of you is using dependencies in Icinga 2? More than 50% roughly. So one thing is that we currently don't have any visualization of dependencies in Icinga. Old friends of the CGIs know there was kind of a dependency view where you can follow up and tackle down your dependencies visually. Perhaps not in the prettiest way, but there was something. Happily, we found someone who wants it so desperately that they founded this development. And this is also on the roadmap for us. So what's important there? We would like to have an intuitive way that you can visualize your dependencies and also investigate your hierarchy and your dependency in a visual way. And what you see now is like the first mock-up that will be happen. So give you an idea what this is. Here is this a live view of the dependency map. You also see, if you see the gray boxes up there, this is something like Icinga service dependencies we have. So you get an idea about dependent objects in Icinga Web 2. You also will get something like the detail view on a specific object. So if you click an object, of course, you get all the details you currently know on the right-hand side. And another important thing that we also think it's important to tackle down problems. So not only visualizing dependencies, like, I don't know, network is often a typical example for dependencies like your upstream router, gateways, PGP, whatever you use. Not only visualizing them, but also understand the context of an historical event. And therefore, we will have something like that we can isolate a specific dependency chain in that view. And hope you can read it. There's kind of an action on that view where you can isolate this chain and just bring that out of the global context that you would just like to isolate the specific root cause analysis, which is wrong. So I hope it makes sense. You just take the specific tree away and isolate that view that is something which happen and would make it hopefully easier to tackle down a problem when you have these host and service dependencies defined. You will also get these in the detail view. So there will also in the detail view an extension of that object is in a standard widget you know from the detail, and also in the object history view. So that is something we are working on. We already did the first design draft, which is probably something you see here. I have personally not seen more than these screenshots. And I think, and please Eric correct me, this is something for the next 2 quarters to work on. So first of all is notification on Kubernetes, bringing the beta releases out, and then we will work on that. And hopefully you will see something during that year on this. Another thing is single sign-on. It's currently, who's using Icinga with a single sign-on like SAML or OAuth or something? Just a couple of you. Who is using some central login ID in his company or in his enterprise or her enterprise? Most of you, okay. So the thing is right now, you can connect Icinga Web using Apache, for instance, to a central OAuth or SAML authentication and just use then these remote user variable and transport this over to Icinga Web and get logged in. But we would like to see that in Icinga itself. So Icinga Web will get a full-featured SSO support, that we have the possibility to connect to a central identity management with a multi-factor authentication, and we're currently working on creating a proof of concept, what the users need. So there are different like security mechanisms people would like to use, but making this like a first-class citizen of Icinga Web itself and not delegate this out to the web server. So these are the 2 things coming later where we don't have a demo right now, but just to give you like a forecast what's coming. Another thing I would like to bring up is these Icinga Insiders. Who is familiar or has ever heard of this? Not so many, so it's good having the slides in there. We would like to have more of you involved in the development of Icinga. So that means we would like to hear in a very early stage what you think about the stuff we are doing. And therefore we have a way, and you can find the link here. I don't have a QR code, lucky-wise, but I think it's not too complicated and Google will help you as well. In the community Icinga Insiders, you can just sign up. You can give us a little bit of an idea of what you are doing. And every now and then, for a specific technology, for a specific UX version, we would like to interact with you, set up a call. You can also like pick a call. We already did the first Icinga Insider round. You can say, I would like to schedule some time, and we would like to learn what you need, what you make. We also did a round of user experience tests. We plan also to do something here, but Florian, our UX designer, is not a good bicycle driver. So this is the reason he's not with us and has a broken arm, which is probably not the best thing for a UX designer, but anyway, he will be well soon. And all these knowledge and your ideas we would like to include in the future development. So it's super important for having a more agile approach, not only what we see is good for you, and we would really learn in an early stage of a product. Even before we release like an alpha or beta version, we would like to share ideas with you and see if that solves your problem. And therefore, we would like to have you there. And if you're interested in, so the Insider Project, just register there and you get on a regular basis. Don't be afraid, not every week, and we don't like offload our work to you. It's just we would like to have your feedback. And that's it, surprisingly. I'm very short in time. Are there any questions? It could be anything. I mean, if it's related to Icinga, it would be helpful, but there are other things I can talk about, like building a house for the kids or something. I know it's totally fine. I see you are totally exhausted. And though with that, I would say we would like to wrap it up. We hope you had a great time. In my perspective, which is probably subjective, it was a great event. Everything worked out. The community spaces yesterday were excellent because people were really engaging a lot, and this is what we hoped it worked. Also for you having the commitment, leaving your comfy remote working zone for 2 days and going to the capital here is amazing. We wish you all a safe trip home, or you stay another night in Berlin. Whatever you do, we hopefully our paths cross in the future. Because I had this question already, we don't know if there's a Icinga Summit next year. Probably, probably not. I think there will definitely be an event, perhaps also in 2 years. We just don't know. The best thing that you know is just, of course, subscribe to our newsletter. If you don't do it, we do it for you, no problem. And then you get the latest updates and know what's going on. And we would love to see you as soon as possible. So with that, in the name of all of us, thank you very much. Safe trip home, and it was a very great time. Thank you. Bye.